Welcome back to Masters and Doctorate Degrees Tips and Tricks. I hope you're enjoying all these videos that I'm posting on our YouTube channel, Masters and Doctorate Degrees Tips and Tricks. You are also welcome to leave your comments, leave your suggestions so that we can also improve on the quality of our videos. Today, let me talk about student role in supervisor-student relationship. And here I have just deliberately focused on the students because I know most of the audience to this channel, I'm expecting them to be students. However, if there are also lecturers there, um, they can also add more on what supervisor expected in this relationship. So let's just quickly go and talk about the student's role or the student's expectations, or what you're expected to do as a student in this student supervisor relationship. When I was reading around, I just discovered that there's only one thing that covers everything, that touches everything, and that is professionalism. And the professionalism is commonly understood as an individual's adherence to a set of rules, set of standards, code of standards, or a collection of qualities. That is, of course, student qualities that characterize an accepted behavior or accepted practice within your area as a student, of course. And there are four things that are very important when we talk of professionalism as one of the most important attributes that students should always possess. And this the boundary, responsibility, respect, and ownership. And when we are talking of the boundaries, we are talking of the do's and don'ts. You should know what you are expected to do. You should know what you are expected not to do. Issues that are like plagiarism are one of those things. You're not expected to plagiarize. You're not expected to use the AI for writing, certain AI for writing, for example, the ChatGTP. You are also expected to be honest in your dealing with your supervisors. We don't expect a student to be lying to their supervisors. And one of the most important boundaries that students must know is that they are students. I have often seen most students wanting to get so close to their supervisors. At times it's okay, but I always want to advise against that, because when the relationship gets sour, to amend that relationship is actually a mission. And most of the students, they end up dropping the universities, they end up dropping their studies because the relationship has turned sour. Unfortunately, your supervisor was the key. I always tell you that he was the key to your graduation. So you need to make sure that you follow your supervisor, whatever the supervisor directs you to do. Try and make sure that you also follow that. And it's very important that you also maintain the boundaries. Most students, they break these boundaries. They don't want to follow these boundaries, and they end up some of them, they end up being abused. Don't forget that out there are also people that would want to take advantage of the situation. So it's very important for you to maintain your boundaries with your supervisors. Then the second is responsibility. The study is your study and not your supervisor. That is the biggest responsibility that you need to be aware of. That the study is yours. I have often seen most students, they want to do very little. They want to read very little. They want to write very little. They want to research very little and they expect so high from their supervisors. The supervisor should only input a percent or less than a percent of her or his knowledge. Most of the work is you. You are supposed to be writing your own work. You are supposed to read to gain some insight. If your supervisor is telling you things that you don't understand, it's very important for you to go and read before you ask too many questions, write too many emails. There are students like that. That's when the supervisor is trying to highlight some other aspect of the research. The student just responds by writing email after email, texting one text after another. You need to go out there and read. It's your responsibility to read and gain some insight, and stop worrying your supervisor. Go and do what you're supposed to do. It's your responsibility to write. Most students, they spend more time complaining. They spend more time asking their supervisor without writing. The most important thing that you can do for yourself when you register, start writing. Read and start writing. Don't wait until October, November when the pressure starts building up. That's when you start to act. That's when you start to write. It's too late. Rather, write. So your responsibility is you to read. Your responsibility is to write. Your responsibility is to do your research. Your responsibility is to make sure that all the feedback, all all the issues that has been raised by your supervisor, you have attended to those issues, and don't leave even a single stone unturned. Whatever your supervisor asks you to, whatever your supervisor questions, you need just to follow so religious. Unfortunately, it is like that. Then respect. Several times we hear so many students trying to call their supervisor, calling for meetings, which is not, which is I found that behavior, uncalled for. Try to respect your supervisor's time. Your supervisor have got so many other students that are more equally important than you. They are also equally important than you. Your supervisor have got other activities besides just supervising you that are also equally important to supervising you. So you need to also show respect. Don't request meeting after meeting. You want meeting, and at the same time the supervisor scheduled the meeting, then you cancel it because you've got another meeting, a work meeting to attend, but you expect your supervisor to leave everything that he or she is doing to attend to you. When you knock on your supervisor's door, you expect your supervisor to leave everything that is doing to if he's with other students, you expect your supervisor to leave that and attend to you. That is not a way of showing respect. Also make sure that you show respect by meeting your deadlines. If you have agreed, and especially is there in your proposal, that I'm gonna do chapter 1 by this time, I'm gonna do chapter 2 by this time, and most of you are just sitting, and you don't look even at that time frame that you have sent to your supervisor, and you have agreed with your supervisor that this is how you are going to move, and you don't follow, you don't adhere to that. You are not showing respect. That's a sign of disrespect to your supervisor. You need to follow that time frame, and you need to make sure that you communicate everything that is happening. If you know you can't get to that the time frame, also communicate with your supervisor that I'm finding it challenging. I've got one or two things to do, and communicating to your supervisor regularly is very important. Your supervisor needs to know that you are working on your document, you are still working on your thesis, and stop lying to your supervisor, or giving petty excuses to your supervisor. It's a sign of disrespectful. You are disrespecting your supervisor. You student, they come with family issues. I couldn't submit my chapter 1 because I had family issues. Some of them, they actually killed their grandfathers and grandmothers, those who died long time ago. They go on to kill, to hospitalize their fathers, as they are finding reasons just to give to their supervisor. Don't waste time by doing that. Your supervisors are not interested in that. They are interested in your work. So it's very important for you to respect your supervisors by making sure that you meet the deadline and you do what your supervisor have told you to do. In the event that you don't agree with what your supervisor I have asked you to do, there's always a way to do it. You have to communicate with your supervisor so nicely and so kindly, and so don't show to your supervisor that I don't want to do what you're telling me to do. There's always a nice way of you saying that, a way to show respect to your supervisor. So that's very important. And the last one is ownership. Your work is yours. The work is yours, and you need to take ownership. Often we have seen a lot of students that blame their supervisors. I am not able to finish this year because my supervisor is not always at the university. My supervisor is not, what the supervisor is telling me. Everything is about my supervisor this and my supervisor that and my supervisor that. You need also to make sure that you take ownership. You are pointing your supervisor with one finger, but three of them are pointing at you. So it's very important for you to take note of that. Ownership. Take ownership of your work. It's your work. It's not your supervisor's work. And make sure that you do what your supervisor is telling you to do. If you don't understand what your supervisor wants you to do, rather do a meeting and ask your supervisor that you want to record the meeting, and come with that recording to us and ask me and say, hey, I had a meeting with my supervisor, but what my supervisor is saying is more Greek than Hebrew. So I rather prefer what is he saying, and I will help you interpret it. I will help you tell you what your supervisor wants you to do. But don't expect me to write the work for you, because your study is yours anyway. So please, you need to take ownership. So these are the four things that are very important in your relationship as a supervisor. So it's very important for you to make sure that you respect those four elements: boundaries, responsibility, respect, and ownership. Thank you. See you in the next video.